Hello everyone, how's it going? Billy Ballgame here, back with another video. On this channel, I'm just a dude who loves to talk about baseball cards. And this is kind of a bonus video for this week. So my wife's cousin came to stay with us for a couple days so they could go do some hiking and stuff down by the lake. And she decided that she wanted to go to the antique store that we went to. I guess it was maybe a month ago, 3 weeks ago. I did a video hunting cards in the wild or something like that. And we went to this antique store, and I was kind of disappointed because I didn't find anything. And I've bought a lot of stuff from this dealer at the antique store before. But today I found quite a bit. So he has several booths scattered throughout this antique store. And the one I bought all this stuff from today wasn't there last time we were here. And it seems like he has cases that are locked up front, and the prices are a little bit higher out of those cases. I guess the rent is more expensive there. But the rest of his booths throughout the rest of the antique store are relatively cheap. And I made some kind of, in my mind, legendary junk wax pickups today that I'm going to rip into and show you. So hang right with me and I'll flip this camera around and we'll start ripping into my pickups. Hello ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a pause for a minute from our regularly scheduled broadcasting to bring you a public service announcement. If everyone could that's watching this video, do me a favor. A buddy of mine and really my brother-in-law, one of his best friends, started a YouTube channel last night, and it's called Go Crazy Collecting Cards. And that is, I'm guessing, I haven't talked to him about it, kind of a tribute to Jack Buck's amazing call on the Ozzie Smith home run in, I believe it was the '85 National League Series. But his name is Justin. He's a music teacher down in Arkansas, and again, his channel is Go Crazy Collecting Cards, and he's a big Cardinals fan, which of course helps, but he grew up in our same area, went to our same high school. Just a really good dude, a genuinely nice guy, and his first video is awesome. It tells kind of the story about how his mom collected cards and how he ended up with them. So if you could, please go check out his channel and watch his video. Please sub and give his video a like. It's kind of a daunting challenge, at least in my opinion, when I started my YouTube channel. And again, it was about a year and a half or so ago. But, you know, to me, I'm just not a tech savvy guy. I'm not a dude that seeks the spotlight or anything like that. And Justin started his YouTube channel for the same reason I did, and that's just that he wants to make connections within the hobby. Because a lot of you know, as grown men collecting pictures of dudes on cardboard, like that's not always the coolest thing out there, especially for people in our age group. So it always helps when you can build some relationships within the hobby and you know, maybe realize that there are other people out there that are just as oddball and obsessed over dudes' pictures in cardboard as you are. So again, thank you for watching this. If you can, please go over there and subscribe to Justin's channel, Go Crazy Cardboard. Back to your regularly scheduled broadcast. All right, so I'm going to show you what I picked up. So first we have a 91 top set. I paid 25 bucks for this, as you can see on the sticker right there. Now, that may have been a little bit of an overpayment, but I don't have a lot of these. So I sold most of mine when I was in high school. So currently, like, I don't even have a Chipper Jones card, Chipper Jones rookie card. So I figured it was cheaper to spend 25 bucks and buy a complete set than like 30 something dollars for a box. So I went ahead and bought the set. And then here we have an 87 Topps vending box. So you guys know what I'm looking for out of there. Of course, Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, Barry Larkin, Nolan Ryan, so on and so forth. And then an 89 Topps traded set. So I have a Ken Griffey Jr. Topps traded, graded in a PSA 9. But I've never owned the complete set. There's also a Randy Johnson in here, which I have a few of ungraded. And then probably one of my favorite cards out of this set is the Nolan Ryan when he's with the Rangers. I just think it's a really nice card. So I was happy to pick this one up. And this box was like brand new, in amazing condition. And I paid $17 for it, which may again have been a little bit of an overpayment. They ripped the box when they were going to take the sticker off. And then the Topps vending box, I think this was 13 or 14 bucks. So I've opened up a lot of 87 Topps in the last few years, but when I saw those that cheap, like I really couldn't help myself. I figured I would go ahead and pick it up. So I'm going to go ahead and rip through these and just double check and make sure that everything is here. And I'll try to go through it as quickly as I can so it doesn't end up being a 2-hour video. And I'm just going to pull a stack out of the middle here. And what I'm hoping for is that basically they're centered, and that maybe if they were, you know, cards that I could send into grade, that they might grade in the 9 range. So again, I'm just going to flip through here quickly and pull out some of the key cards in the set. So far, they appear to be in good condition and well centered. So maybe I'll get lucky and that will carry on throughout this set. So I'll keep my fingers crossed. And this is, I believe, a 792 card set. So quite a few cards. And if you don't want to watch me flip through all of these, feel free to skip ahead. But I'm also going to go through the 87 vending box and the 89 Topps traded set just to double check and make sure, especially with the top set, that everything is in there. And then out of the 87 Topps vending box, like maybe I'll pull, you know, a couple nice Barry Bonds cards or Bo Jacksons or something, because I'm always looking for cards out of those to grade. I'm not going to pull what I consider to be most of the like minor stars and stuff out of here. I'm just going to shoot for the Hall of Famers, and then of course the chipper. Again, just so it doesn't become too long of a video. Yeah, so far so good. All of these look pretty good so far. And of course there's not anything of tremendous value out of this set. I'm going to rearrange some of this stuff here so I have a little bit more room to work with. But again, there's not a lot of value out of these types of sets, as you all know. I think Chipper's rookie in a 10 is probably, I don't know, maybe a $50 to $70 card or somewhere around there. Nolan Ryan record breaker. And I'm guessing the Nolan Ryan in a 10 would be probably in the ballpark of $50, maybe $70, $80. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But yeah, I just think they're cool cards. Here's Ken Griffey Jr.'s All-Star. Nice card. Off center, top to bottom a little bit. And I'll set that aside and and look at it to see if it's a card I would consider grading for my Ken Griffey Jr. collection. And I'd be happy with it in a 9. Tony La Russa. Carney Lansford was a good player. Marquise Grissom was a good player. Like, if you don't know how good of a player Marquise Grissom was, like, look his stats up on Baseball Reference, and it may surprise you. Like, he was a good player for a long time. He's not a Hall of Famer, but I think he has like 2,300 or somewhere in that ballpark hits for his career, and he hit one of the longest balls I've ever seen hit in my life. When I was in high school, he hit a foul ball that went well into, like, halfway up the upper deck, landed halfway into the upper deck in left field at Busch Stadium. Just a moonshot. But then again, it was a foul ball, luckily. But man, he smoked that ball. So here's the chipper. First blush, looks to be in pretty good condition. Again, maybe off center a little bit from top to bottom, but again, if I think this will grade in the 9 range, you know, I may send it in to get graded. It just depends on how much a 9 costs. This might be a card that I just at some point would just fork out the money to buy a 10 because it's relatively inexpensive. So if a 9 is, you know, worth more than $15 or so, then I would probably grade it. But my guess is that a 9 is probably worth, I don't know, $12 to $20, somewhere in that range. So it may not actually be worth grading that card. But I'll do a little research on that and find out. There's Barry Larkin. Sparky. He almost looks like he's actually smiling in that picture. Tom Brunansky was another good player, kind of a big bopper for the Cardinals after they moved on from Jack Clark. I think he had a 30 home run season or something in that ballpark for the Cardinals. And again, I'm not going to pull all the stars out. Harold Baines, everybody's favorite Hall of Famer. Wally Joyner, a good player for a little bit. Matt Williams, MVP winner. Current third base coach for the Giants. There's Kirby Puckett. Sorry, I know this is not the most exciting set that Topps ever made. Again, feel free to fast forward. This is I like this Carlton Fisk card. I've always liked this one. Cecil Fielder coming in to score. Carlton Fisk waiting for the throw or about to field the throw. I'm a big fan of Pudge, Carlton Fisk. The White Sox in this era was probably my second favorite non-Cardinals team because I was a huge Seattle Mariners fan, and then the White Sox were probably my second favorite non-Cardinals team. This would have been a big card back in the day. Alex Fernandez was an ace for the White Sox for a little while. Or maybe not the ace, but definitely one of the better pitchers to go along with Blackjack McDowell. Mike Lieberthal ended up having a pretty good big league career. Charlie Huff looked like he was 70 years old back in the 70s. Robin Ventura, the recipient of almost a KO from Nolan Ryan. That might be a slight exaggeration. There's Big Mac. Was always a big fan of that card. I really like the Bo Jackson card out of this set too. Barry Bonds All-Star. And this set, if I'm not mistaken, is the last set of the older type of Topps cardstock, the gray or the brown type of cardstock. If I'm not mistaken, 92 they went to a whiter, more premium, nicer cardstock. And another reason why I like to buy complete sets, and I mean I like to buy boxes too, but usually complete sets are cheaper than boxes. You're going to get all the cards and you don't have to worry about the gum mucking your cards up. Here's Cal Ripken. Roberto, still with the Padres. Jeff Torborg managed some really good White Sox teams in these days with, again, Frank Thomas, Robin Ventura, Carlton Fisk, Craig Graybeck at second base, Jack McDowell was a pitcher, Alex Fernandez. Mark Newfield had a little bit of a hype and had a couple pretty good seasons with the Mariners younger into his career and kind of faded off very rapidly. Julio Franco played until he was almost 50 in the big leagues. There's Rhino. Doug Drabek. Won a Cy Young, was a 20-game winner, really good pitcher for a little while for the Pirates. The Cobra, Dave Parker, should be in the Hall of Fame. Kevin Moss was hyped up, had a good couple 20-year home run seasons his first couple years in the big leagues. There's Juan Gone. Charles Nagy was another hyped up prospect there for a while. Danny Tartabull, good player. Sorry again, I'm trying to get through these as quick as I can. I'm about halfway through. Glenn Davis was a good player for a little while. Here's Gary Sheffield. Jose Offerman was hyped up. Eddie Murray. Oral Hershiser. Cal Ripken, record breaker. Ken Oberkfell played on a World Series championship Cardinals team. There's Donnie Baseball. Al Leiter had a long, successful major league career. Most of you will probably remember his rookie error card in 88 Topps where they had a picture that wasn't even him. They had a box of 88 rack packs that I actually thought about picking up, but it was like $30-something. I didn't want to pay that for 88 Topps. Mike Greenwell was hyped up there for a while and was a pretty good player. Here's Frank Thomas. What's going on with that one? Holy cow. That one looks like it got ran over. Definitely some surface issues. Maybe got caught up in the machine or something. New Hall of Fame manager Jim Leyland. I remember him smoking heaters in the dugout during games. Jack Morris. Here's Ken Griffey Jr.'s base card. This one looks pretty sharp. I have always been a big fan of this card. So yeah, that might be a candidate for grading. I don't know. I'll look at it closer. I'll put a magnifying glass and a loupe on it. Steve Avery was hyped up, had a couple pretty good years with the Braves. Part of the best starting rotation in baseball for several years. There's Tim Raines, a.k.a. Rock, Andy Van Slyke. Greg Jeffries, Dave Justice were also both hyped up. Greg Jeffries, probably before Jerome Walton, was one of the most hyped up rookie cards that I remember before he ever even did anything in the big leagues. I wasn't really around for the Fernando Mania, but his hype started after he made it to the big leagues and tore it up his rookie year. Jerome Walton and Greg Jeffries and a lot of those guys, Scott Erickson was a good pitcher for a while. A lot of these guys are hyped up before they even make it to the big leagues, and then they get there and they're like, Greg Jeffries was supposed to be like the next Joe Morgan or something like that, and then he makes it to the big leagues, and he was a good player and an all-star player, was an all-star with the Cardinals, but never quite lived up to the hype. So, of course, if they don't come out and start winning Triple Crowns and MVPs, immediately, their cards decrease tremendously in value. And that seems to be how it is with a lot of the newer cards and younger prospects and stuff. Except now, the difference is Greg Jeffries was probably an $8 card as a rookie. As a matter of fact, I remember his 88 Fleer being worth $8. And so if he didn't pan out, yeah, as a 12 or 13-year-old, that was heartbreaking. But imagine, some of the stuff, some of these prospects now, as much as some of these guys are paying for these first Bowman autographs and stuff, several $100s. So imagine holding some of those, and then a guy gets up to the big leagues and doesn't live up to the hype, and then those cards tumble and you lose several $100s. I'll just stick to the junk wax era and older. All these cards, their value in the junk wax era or lack thereof is firmly established. John Smoltz, unless there's some serious bad news that comes out about John Smoltz, his cards are worth what they're worth. And then the same with a vintage. And I like some of the new cards. I like some of the new players, but man, they're expensive, and it's all just a gamble on the hype train. And that's too risky for me. I have some newer stuff, of guys I like and guys I believe in, Mookie Betts and Kyle Tucker and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Jose Ramirez and some of those guys. But most of those I bought as singles out of bargain boxes at the dugout in Columbia, or I pulled them out of packs back when I was ripping the newer stuff. And I like Bobby Witt Jr. My buddy Chris from Missouri is a huge Royals fan, and he has some Bobby Witt Jr. cards. But for me, he's still too young into his career And I mean, not that his cards are super expensive, but some of his autographs and stuff aren't cheap, and that's just more money than I would be willing to spend at this point on an unproven player. So I like to wait a few years until they're a little bit more established. That's just my opinion. All right, bear with me. Almost done here. I've got probably 2 more stacks after this one. Here's the Hawk Andre Dawson. Hopefully my amazing and award-winning commentary is enough to keep you entertained while I'm flipping through these. Frank Viola, Darryl Strawberry, pull Cecil out. But yeah, again, I wasn't planning on doing another video this week, and then we went to the antique store, and I fully expected to come out of there empty-handed like I did last time. But then his new booth was on the very last aisle in the antique store, and it's a pretty good one. Allegedly, it's the biggest one in Missouri. And then I saw that his prices in this booth were cheaper than his ones up front. So I was able to find some stuff that I wanted to take home with me. And this is why I complain about never being able to keep up with top loaders and penny sleeves, is because I'm going to need hundreds of them just from this pickup today. And again, to a certain extent, it hurts my feelings because some of these cards are not worth the top loader. Like the top loaders cost more than the cards. Here's a Nolan Ryan. That one's pretty nice. It's a little off center left to right, it looks like, but overall a pretty sharp card. Might be a little something on the surface there. But again, I'll look at it. One of these days I'll do a Nolan Ryan run. But for me, it all starts with their rookie card. Like once I get their rookie card, here's Tony Gwynn. Once I get their rookie card, I'm more likely to consider doing a player run on them because I've got their most expensive card knocked out of the way. There's Ozzie Smith's twin brother, Jose, who probably just made it to the big leagues because of his brother, because his minor league stats were never really impressive. 20 home runs and 67 RBIs in Huntsville, which was their AAA in 1990, but a .225 batting average. So how'd that dude ever make it to the big leagues? He was actually on the Cardinals for a little bit. Never really did much. A lot of you out there probably, well, some of you out there probably didn't even realize he had a twin brother. If you weren't collecting during the junk wax era. All right, so here is Sweet Lou Whitaker. I'm a firm believer that he'll be in the Hall of Fame one of these days. Matt Noakes, very hyped. So this is a corrected version of an error card of Mark Whiten, where his hand goes outside of the border on the card. It's actually fairly valuable. But it's weird that they corrected that, because in this set there are lots of cards where they have bats or hats or something protruding outside the border. But they corrected that one for some reason. So here's Hojo. Howard Johnson was a pretty good player for a few years for the Mets and then tailed off. Kevin Moss, record breaker. I think it was fewest at bats to 20 home runs in a season. Something like that. Delino DeShields was another good player. Larry Walker, Gold Cup. Darryl Strawberry. Palmeiro. Should be in the Hall of Fame other than steroids and running his mouth to Congress, wagging his finger at him. Tony Fernandez was a good player, rest in peace. Dave Hollins was hyped when he was younger in his career, had a couple pretty good seasons. David Cone. Here's Randy Johnson. Willie McGee, show my Cardinal fandom and put him in the star pile. Here's George Brett. Curt Schilling would probably be in the Hall of Fame if he wouldn't have made all the baseball writers angry because they disagree with his politics. Jose Canseco. All right, last stack for this one. Hopefully this doesn't go to 40 minutes on this video because that's just way too long if it does. So this set was definitely not sealed and has some random cards shoved in here in the end. Miguel Cairo played for the Cardinals for a bit. Jason Christensen. Yeah, these cards definitely didn't come out of this set. Alex Rodriguez. Cover Glory, Cal Ripken with creases. I think the creases are free. I don't think they charge you extra for creases usually. Instant Win pieces, Eastern Bluebird, Kevin Witt. Yeah, definitely random cards. Here's Lee Smith. Tom Glavine, 93 Milkbone Superstars, limited edition. So limited edition means 15 million probably. Brett Butler. How creepy is that? Here's a checklist. All right, I think we're back to the cards in the set. And this is the last stack. So again, I hope this video isn't as boring as I think it's going to be for you all to set through. Again, feel free to flip through, to scroll through until it gets to, maybe you want to see me go through the 87 Topps vending box or the 89 Topps traded set, or maybe not, which is fine too, because most of these cards I have a lot of. But I really still just am a fan of the junk wax era cards, even though there's not really a lot of value there. It just brings back a lot of nostalgia to me. George Bell. So yeah, I enjoy buying these types of cards whenever I can find them for fairly cheap. Bo Jackson. Barreling down third base maybe. Or maybe between second and third. It's hard to say. A little off center, top to bottom, but I've always been a fan of that card. It's just kind of funny. It looks like he's about to lose his britches. El Presidente, Denny Martinez. Carlton Fisk, All-Star card. Wild Thing, Mitch Williams. Ramon Martinez, Pedro's brother, and actually Ramon won 20 games his first season in the big leagues. His first full season, I should say. That was Dave Winfield. Ron Gant was big there for a while. There's Tom Glavine. Jay Buhner, I was always a big fan of Bones. Jay Buhner. Brady Anderson had a huge season. Cal Daniels had a couple good years. There's Bobby Cox. Paul Molitor. Almost done. Edgar Martinez. John Smiley, another 20-game winner. Craig Biggio. All right, so that'll do it for the 91 top set. Sorry, I bumped my camera there. So let me put this away. I guess next I'll do the 87 vending box. Let me straighten my piles up here a little bit. Again, this is a longer video. I usually like to keep my videos at 30 minutes at the longest, usually. But this one, we're at about probably 33 minutes or so. So again, feel free to skip forward if you want, if you don't want to sit through all this. Which again, if you don't, I don't blame you at all. Not all of you enjoy junk wax as much as I do. So again, here's the 87 Topps vending box. If I can fish a stack out of here to get started with, there we go. There's Roger, Fernando, Mets leaders with Strawberry and Gary Carter, Tom Seaver. So most of you, if you've been around the channel for a while, Yogi Berra as an Astros coach, remember me talking about losing my collection. And that was really up to, I would say, probably toward the end of the 86 season, maybe. So really, when I started up again, Bruce Bochy's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame as a coach. There's Greg Swindell rookie card that had a little bit of value back in the day. But I really started back collecting again in 87, and I bought a lot of these cards. And so this is the first year, really, that I had a lot of cards, bought a lot of packs, and remember a set really well is this 87 set. There's Kirby Puckett, Dwight Gooden, and again, as with most of the junk wax cards, there's not a lot of value. But Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, there's Rafael Palmeiro's rookie. Bo Jackson, Barry Bonds, Nolan Ryan, like those cards, if you can get them in tens, they're worth about $100 or so. But usually you have centering issues. So again, with the junk wax stuff, like there were a lot of these cards that were made and printed, but there were so many problems with them, you know, being off-centered and print errors and stuff like that, that the pop counts on them are relatively low for tens. It's, you know, it's hard to get tens in any card, but a lot of these, you know, I would say kind of late to early 80s Topps cards are really hard to get tens on. And most of the time it's because of centering. Like, look at all the fish eyes on that. Carney Lansford was a good player. Bob Tewksbury had a really good year for the Cardinals one year. Another Roger Clemens. Another Fernando. Same correlation. Interesting. And this vendor had a case of 87 vending boxes for sale for, I want to say, 300 and around there, around 300 and something dollars. And I paid $13.99 for this box. So I kind of did the math in my head real fast and was like, that seems like that's way overpriced. And I've bought a lot of stuff from this guy before, and usually his stuff is pretty decent. Like, not that I would really worry about it with an 87 Topps vending box because they're so cheap. But, you know, if I had suspicions that this guy, you know, went through and resealed packs and stuff like that, like, I wouldn't buy stuff from him. But again, I bought an 86 Donruss box from him and got a Jose Canseco rookie and 2 Fred McGriff rookies out of that box. So usually everything I buy from him seems to be pretty legit. So that's why I keep buying from him. George Brett, Rich Gossage, Ruben Sierra, that's his rookie card. Ruben Sierra was another good player. Sorry, I'm trying to go through these as quick as I can. Eddie Murray. Keith Hernandez. Vince Coleman. My Cardinal fandom, I'll pull him out. Dave Winfield. Dewey, Dwight Evans, I'm a big fan of him and think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Jose Oquendo, Kill the Wabbit. Ryan Sandberg. Kent Colvey, Dwight Gooden. Danny Tartabull. Bobby Thigpen, that's his rookie card, I think. Had the saves record there for a while, but then, if I'm not mistaken, K-Rod ended up with like 62 saves or something in a season one year. I think when Bobby Thigpen broke the record, I think he had like 50 or 51 saves. Steve Carlton. Lou Whitaker. Mike Greenwell, that has no value anymore, but just out of nostalgia, because I remember that being a $5 card back in the day. There's Ozzie. Keith Hernandez. So no Bo so far, no McGuire, no Canseco, no Bonds, no Nolan Ryan. I'm not quite halfway through yet, so I won't give up hope yet. And I have a lot of those cards anyway. But again, I'm constantly on a hunt to find these cards that are nice enough to grade, even in the 9 range. Carlton Fisk. Cobra again. Dave Parker. Robbie Thompson was a good player for a while. Frank White, another good player. Ron Guidry, Hall of Fame or Cy Young winner. I think he won 25 games one year. Tommy Lasorda. So again, I have a Hall of Famer pile and a star pile. And then some of the rookie cards you've seen me pull out. I'll pull that one aside because Tony La Russa is a Hall of Famer. Bip Roberts, that's his rookie card. All right, I'm a little over halfway. This is probably going to be the longest video on my channel. Donnie Baseball on that Yankees leaders. But again, I just can't help myself when I find junk wax era cards again that are fairly cheap. Like, I'm usually going to pick them up unless it's something that I just have a whole bunch of, or there's so much stuff there that I don't want to buy too much. Like, there were a couple hockey boxes that I would have considered buying. There was some more baseball stuff that I would have considered buying, but some of it was just a little bit too overpriced. Like, there was an 89 Donruss box that was, I think, $31 or something. Will Clark, that was a big rookie card back in the day. Will the Thrill. Really good player, and he was still playing pretty well when he retired. I kind of wish he would have stuck around for a few more years. And some people think he still might end up in the Hall of Fame, but I think if he would have played for a few more years, that would definitely increase his chances. I don't really know if he's a Hall of Fame player or not. He was really good. He's kind of a fringy, borderline type of guy, but there's no doubt he was one of the best first baseman, if not the best first baseman in baseball for a while, at least in the National League anyway. Wally Joyner. Don Sutton. Ron Cey, not a Hall of Famer, but a good player. Terry Pendleton. A lot of doubles in here, and no Bonds, no Jackson, no Nolan Ryan, no Canseco, no McGuire. I don't know the correlation of these vending boxes because I've never opened one before, but I would think that the odds of not pulling any of those, there's a Barry Larkin rookie, I would think the odds of not pulling any of those would be pretty slim. So we'll see. Last stack right here. Again, if you're still with me, I appreciate you. God bless you for sticking with this whole video. There's Darryl Strawberry, because this is going to be a long one. Tony Pena was one of the better catchers in baseball for a while, if not the best. Jim Rice, Orel Hershiser, Earl Weaver. Devon White rookie card. All right, last few cards. So none of the big ones, which is disappointing, but again, for 13, 14 bucks, I guess I can't complain. It was fun going through them. So now what I'm most excited about is the 89 Topps Traded set. Because again, I never really had too many traded sets growing up. I think the only one I ever bought was the 1990 Score traded with the Frank Thomas and the Eric Lindros card in it. Couple stragglers still in the box here. So yeah, I've bought a couple 86 Topps traded sets, and now this 89 Topps traded. I've, since I was a kid, bought I think 2 of the 1990 Score traded sets. But some of the Donruss, the rookie sets and stuff like that. So I'll buy that type of stuff when I can find it cheaply. And again, the best card out of this set is, there's a nice Ricky. Rough cut on this edge over here. But generally a good looking card, well centered. But yeah, as you know, the Ken Griffey Jr. card is the best card in the set. And this one in a 10 is worth about $100. So it's one of his cheaper rookie cards, and these were printed to the moon. It's like one of the most graded cards in history. So here's the Nolan Ryan. So I'm a big fan of this card. That's his first Texas Rangers card. This one looks pretty sharp. Again, rough cut on the left edge, but overall a nice card. I don't know how SGC treats those rough cut edges when it comes to grading. So I may have to do a little research on that and determine if that's nice enough to send out. Here's the Randy, which I have a few of these, but most of the ones I have are a little bit off-centered. This one's pretty nice. Love that card. Huge fan of the big unit. Greg Olson, your 89 AL Rookie of the Year. There's Ken Sr. Dion, it's his rookie in baseball. Of course, I believe he's a Hall of Famer in football. Some of these are kind of sticking a little bit. John Kruk, when he went to the Phillies. All right. Luckily, there aren't as many in this set as there were in the 91 Topps set or the 87 Topps vending box. Dwight Smith was also hyped up right along with Jerome Norton, or Jerome Walton back in the day. Sorry, that stack I think I'd already flipped through. Kevin Brown, Kenny Rogers, Ken Hill. The Cardinals really thought Ken Hill was going to be something back in the day. Milt Thompson, Rob Murphy, Jim Abbott. This would have been a big card around this time. I'll set that one aside. Sorry again, some of these are sticking. Which maybe that's a good sign. Maybe that means they haven't been gone through. Tom Gordon was a big rookie around this time. There's the Ken Griffey. So again, a good looking card. It's a little bit thick on the bottom edge, it looks like. Maybe a little thicker on the left edge. And again, I don't know how they treat these rough cut edges, but if I think this would grade a 9, I would send it in to get graded. I have one in a PSA 9, a really old holder. It was one of the first graded cards I ever bought, probably back in I don't know, 2006, 2007, somewhere around there when we lived in Colorado. I think that's it for the for the bigger cards out of the set. Frank DiPino was an interesting guy. He did a whole lot of impersonations of like batting stances and stuff like that, and other pitchers' deliveries. There's Omar Vizquel, his rookie card. I guess the jury is still out on whether or not he'll ever make it into the Hall of Fame with his rumored misconducts that he like allegedly portrayed against women. So I guess you can use your imagination and fill in the blanks on that, what that is, if you don't already know what I'm talking about. But if it weren't for that, he would probably already be in the Hall of Fame. He won as many Gold Gloves or more, I think, than Ozzie Smith. There's Eddie Murray. Huge print dot on Jeff Torborg's head. Bert Blyleven. I put Ken Griffey Jr. in the wrong pile. I'll have to move him. Julio Franco. All right, so again, that was the 91 Topps set. That was an 87 Topps vending box. And the 89 score or 89 Topps traded set. So again, the longest video that I've ever done on my channel, and this was a long one, so this one will be close to an hour. So again, if you're still with me, God bless you, you're a trooper. So I guess I'll go ahead and wrap it up at that. Once again, under 30 days now till the National. Today is Sunday, I think the 30th of June as I post this, so, or as I'm filming this. So I don't know if I'll get this out today or if it'll be on Monday, but Monday is the 1st of July, so we're in National Month, so it'll be here before we know it. And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. So again, if you stuck around for this marathon video, thank you once again. And thank you for your support of the channel. If you're still with me and you haven't already, please give this one a like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will leave it at that. And I've got a huge mess to clean up. So I hope everybody has a good one. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later.